If you ever need motivation to get working on a project, just let your daughter have a sleepover. I'm not sure that's getting it all, or is that some aluminum or something? I don't know if that's strong enough. Trying to figure out the best tool. Got that thing. I've got this one, which is brass. Can you see that? That's brass, and that's also for a drill. Got a bunch of different metal brushes. I've got the rust converter, got that stuff, but I want to try to use, mechanical abrasive to get as much off as I can, and then once it's just barely surface rust, then go over that with the converter. I don't know if y'all can see the difference, but it's kind of metallic shiny in here, and it doesn't have this light rust right here. It's not obvious. That rust converter is basically a chemical reaction, so it'll change the rust to iron oxide, hell, I don't know, something. But it won't stick. I mean, if the rust isn't sticking to the metal now, it'll just change it into something else that ain't sticking. You know what I mean? So you want to get that rust where it's actually part of the metal and it hadn't flaked off. So you got to get it down to like the unscrapable or the tight rust, because it'll convert that to something you can paint and it'll stick. Okay, I got this stuff to do the rust conversion. I put a question on there and a bunch of people responded, like OSFO and stuff like that, and so I looked it up and figured out what it is. And this is basically the same stuff, it's just a lot cheaper. It's muriatic acid? I can't know, that's within the pool. Some kind of acid, I can't remember. But with some other herbs and spices blended in. But I'm just gonna I got a paintbrush. I'm just gonna try a little piece right here where the metal stick. Just paint a little bit on there. I just kind of just want to see what it does. You can't see this. I'm trying to jam a paintbrush down in this stuff because I don't want to really pour it out. A little bit on here. thing with this stripper, this stuff for concrete, so it's supposed to do two things: surface prep, but also like Osmo and a couple other ones. It's got something mixed in with it to make it basically what's called an adhesion promoter, which basically means something that helps paint stick. All right, it's been like a day or so, and you can see that stuff did just like what it supposedly I've seen on TV, or not TV, on YouTube and stuff, where it changed the rust to some different material. So now what I want to do is see how tough it is. I mean, is that stuff going to scratch off, or... Looks like some of it came off, but it still looks pretty tough. You know what I mean? Okay, what I've done is I'm going to do a little test. So this is brushed rust that was then painted over with rust converter. And then over here is brushed rust, no rust converter. Now I've already, both of this and both of those, I've already wiped it down with I used alcohol instead of acetone, but you know, it's clean and it's basically where it would be if I was going to paint it for real. So I was looking through all the parts I've bought for this, and I've actually found, okay, so I've got whatever, automotive primer, rusty metal primer, self-etching primer, and no primer. So over here, and there's not really a rust over here, so I'm going to use this part and this part. So up here will be just paint, no primer. This will be rusty metal primer. Then over here we'll do the self-etching and the automotive. And I'm doing a horrible job. But whatever. There we go. I'm really curious, is this rusty metal primer, to see how it goes. Kind of hard to do left-handed, but I've got horrible aim left-handed. But there we go. Sweet. You know, have you ever accidentally tasted Loctite? Loctite tastes like Kool-Aid. So as a refresher, this side is treated with rust converter, wiped down with alcohol. That's self-etching primer, that's regular automotive primer. And this side is just brushed, you know, so wire wheeled rust. I mean, I didn't get it down to metal, I just got the loose stuff off. And then this is rusty metal primer, and this is just plain old rust. Alright, so what I've done is I've taped this off, so I'm going to paint this. And so I'll have self-etching, painted, unpainted, rust converted, painted, unpainted, auto primer, painted, unpainted, and then over on this other side, I'll have just converted. No, what is over here? Oh, just scraped off rust, painted, unpainted, and then the rusty primer, painted, unpainted. Let's see if I can do this without the fan blowing it in my face. There we go. There we go. So we're going to make sure we attack the crap out of that with the pressure washer. Really try to give it a beat down, and no pun intended, see what sticks. So see if we can blast some rust off. I think that's the 5 degree. Let me look. That was a 40 degree. Here we go. This one took the hurt on me. On the left is self-etching primer, and the center is what I believe, if I remember right, is regular automotive primer, and the right is no primer. All of that is on top of converted metal. And then above it, up here, this upper part is painting. So spray painting on top of either one of the primers of the bare metal. And then something I even think about, what's also here is this little blue line is paint on top of the existing paint. Now, everything was wiped down with alcohol, so that shouldn't be an issue. It looks to me like the clear winner is obviously self-etching primer and then paint. Self-etching primer on top of converted metal, then paint. Okay, here's the other side, and if you remember, I don't remember exactly, but I know this was that rusty metal primer. So it was basically primer you spray right on rust. So it was like technically had some converter built into it or something. I don't know. And then, so this was rusty metal primer. And if I remember right, over here was just painting on top of rust. Either way, what you can see is the rust converter is a tremendous help. What I did is I put some of that clean strip in a spray bottle. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes, and I've gone over it twice, being very careful if I hit something that's not metal to come back and spray it off. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. I just finished hosing it off, the water hose. You can see most of it's converted over pretty good. There's still some spots left that didn't, but I wanted to get it air dry so I can bring it back in the garage. Converting it, or maybe it did. There's this white dust or whatever you'd want to see, like that stuff right there, everywhere, and so I'm not quite sure what that is. And if you look right here, okay, I did some research, and apparently that's just dried phosphoric acid. So when I hosed it off, I didn't get it off very good. So what I read was to get it off, put more acid on it, which I don't know, see. Then they said you can sand it, scrub it, whatever. I think what I'm going to try is I will first just take a pressure washer to it. I'm pretty sure I can get it off because I'm scraping it off with the wire brush, or wherever it is. And it's not that hard to get off, but I don't want to wire brush this whole freaking tractor because it'd be a pain. But the amount of pressure I'm having to use the wire brush tells me I think the pressure washer will get it off. So that'll be the first shot. And if that doesn't work, I'll spray it with acid and then pressure wash it. Okay, I took the pressure washer to it. 15-degree tip. It seems to got most of the stuff off, like where it was spotty, now it's just metal. I didn't film it, but you can see it doesn't have that dusting of stuff on there. And pretty much I hit everything blue with that 15-degree nozzle. So if that didn't take it off, I ain't worried about it coming off. Remember, I had the issue where basically I sprayed this stuff on, it converted it, but there was a lot of white crystals, like dried up acid. So I pressure washed it off, and then some places it really got it good, and it got a little more surface rust on it. And then some places it just like it didn't work. I don't know if it was too thick or maybe it was because it was aerosolized. But what I've been doing is like the places that don't look good, and I'm saying this is like 20 times, but I'll put a little bit. This bottle's almost empty. Put a little bit down, and then just if you brush it on for some reason, it really likes, because one, a little bit goes for a long way. I mean, this stuff really spreads. Okay, I got the rest of these pieces all treated. So what I'll probably need, I might have to do, if I can look at them like this one. It's so discolored and stuff, it's hard to tell how rough it is, but that one, and probably a couple of these, I'm going to take the air sander, I guess what it's called, the round disc, whatever that thing's called. Clean these all up, and then I'll just prime it before I install it. But gotta replace the bushings in here. Then get all this crap put back together, and I gotta go watch the video to see how I forgot which direction that thing goes. But get this stuff all reinstalled, and then it'll be time to tape and paint.